I missed the Blue Jeans voice. All right, everybody. Welcome to your September All Hands. Obviously, a lot going on, a lot to talk about. We don't have the happy Blue Jeans voice telling us this is being recorded, so Jim missed his cue. But we will record this for posterity and those who aren't on tonight. Jim, did you have anything to say about that?
Well, fuck. How did I miss that, man?
I don't know, man. I don't know. So obviously the elephant in the room is the impacts of Hurricane Laura and our response there too. We'll talk about all that stuff in a minute. But this is the update format. We'll just go over the highlights, South Central stats. We'll go through the geographic areas, and then we'll hit our functional areas, close out with some announcements. So let's try to get you guys in and out under an hour, but packed agenda because there's just a ton of stuff happening. You guys have been putting out an incredible amount of work product. So thank you for everything that you've done. Obviously, I'm still kind of like keeping my feet balanced in two worlds as I'm only 2 months into this whole dad thing, and it still is sucking up a significant amount of my bandwidth. Fortunately, we were lucky enough to add a bunch of horsepower to the team this month with the addition of Amanda McDonald. We'll give her a moment or two later on to say hi, introduce herself to everybody. But if you guys haven't met Amanda yet, we're just super excited and super lucky to have her on board. And she will do a ton to keep this ship heading in the right direction, at least after her wedding, which is in 13 days. Not that that's a significant stress point for her. But so, that's what's going on for me. But I mean, obviously for us, we still have a lot of work to do, and you guys have been doing it. We are still in the coronavirus business. Just because we had a tremendous once-in-a-lifetime weather event smack us down in Louisiana, Texas, doesn't mean that the virus went away. In fact, it's a very active part of the operation that we're working on. It's led to a lot of unique protocols and a lot of on-the-fly adaptation from the organization. You guys have seen us talk about some of that messaging. But it is really affecting the way that we can do business. The most significant remains the keeping some of our older gray shirts on the bench. I know that's a big frustration point for everybody. We're trying to find additional ways to get them plugged into the fight, including online instruction, outreach, planning, scrubbing, all kinds of different work that can be done behind the scenes. They remain a crucial leg of our organization, but we're not able to get them in the field right now. Other things include how it impacts the waves, how we're getting people out there. A lot of you guys are used to being able to drive out for a day or two to get that work done, and then turn around and go back and then kind of go back again. But with coronavirus in the mix, we're really trying to compartmentalize those deployment waves because it gets a lot more challenging if you do have an outbreak in terms of tracking the spread of it. So, instead of having one big fob, we have 3 smaller fobs in the same area that we're compartmentalizing. Instead of having, the sort of interchangeability that we have, we don't have that. It's affecting how we deploy people on those flight waves. All of the things that we normally do in a storm environment, we're still doing. We're just doing them a little bit differently. And so you guys have seen the guidance that we posted. If you haven't had a chance to read through it yet, I encourage you to take some time to kind of read through it and get that information because it'll really kind of help you get your head in the right space before you go down there. Even as like the numbers continue to look better here in Texas and Louisiana, there's still a significant threat from the virus both here and around the country. As the numbers rise and fall, and we don't want to get anybody sick, and we don't want to see anything bad happen because of it. So we're keeping a real close eye on that, but we're still kind of figuring out how to get stuff done there. And that does remain, of course, a significant priority as well, is LoRa. LoRa is probably going to be the majority of our focus for the next 2 to maybe 3 months. We do have sort of the green light from finance that we have enough donations online that we can really expand and go big. If you guys remember, the initial guidance was we were going to get to 100 deployers down there. We're now kind of looking to maybe expand beyond that, assuming we can do so safely. And we'll continue to kind of work down there as long as we have volunteers to do it. Look like a limiting factor there is going to be the financial side of it. So that's really exciting, but also a real challenge to us and the rest of the territories and the organization, because we're going to have to do two things. One, we're going to have to keep, churning out the feed of new volunteers to get down there and do the physical work. And the other piece of it is to continue to train in field CNG. So we'll talk about more of those opportunities later. But just bear that in mind that, for the foreseeable future, whenever we talk about what the South Central Territory is doing, a piece that's going to be funneling deployers down to Lake Charles, Orange, all of those areas that have been so hard hit, and trying to help folks, because even as this falls out of the news cycle, the need remains, and we have a lot of work to do. And then the last piece of this is to continue to monitor what's coming down the pipe at us. You'll probably hear from Mike and Steve. There's still churn out there coming off the coast of Africa and heading our way. We're very much not out of the woods in this hurricane season. Other storms will come. Maybe they'll hit us, maybe they won't, but we have to be ready for them. And so it's going to take a constant situational awareness and preparation on our part to make sure that we can divide our resources. All right. I'm going to hand it over to Steve and the planning and operations teams, and they're going to talk through what we're currently got going and all of our efforts on that front.
Hey guys, you're going to see on here is some of the neighbors helping neighbors. You see some of the impact that we're having, not just in South Central, but across TR Nation. Overall, I was actually pretty surprised when I pulled the core ops numbers. I didn't think we'd breached 30 yet, but I'm pleased to say as of September 3rd, that was the last update that we had run, is that we've had 32 core ops responses. Most of those are going to be within the COVID environment. Of that, without the latest numbers from LoRa, we are at 944 households that we've been able to provide a lot of assistance to. And as a lot of you guys know, a lot of that is here in South Central between the 3 tornado responses, and now we're looking at the 2 hurricanes. So a big congratulations to all of you and everyone that was a part of the different layers of that. And Rebuild has completed 2 houses, and they've got a few more in the works right now. And we'll have some updates on Rebuild opportunities as we move forward.
Thanks, sir. The other thing that's still ongoing on the local side of the house is obviously our ongoing Neighbors Helping Neighbors. We know everybody wants to deploy. It's kind of in our blood, but we also know everybody can't. Not everybody can get away from work. And then also, that 65 to 75 age bracket, if you can't deploy down to LoRa, but you're still looking to make an impact in your community, Neighbors Helping Neighbors is very much available to you. Part of that is the Emergency Feeding Assistance Program, which is still ongoing. So if you haven't logged in to look for need near you, I encourage you guys to get in there and check it out. And then even outside of that, we're still logging all of the other local opportunities just to go out there and help, blood drives, just checking on your neighbors. The numbers, I've heard a pre-talk about like the numbers of increases in things like suicide attempts, depression. COVID impacts continue to be very real across the country. And even as we enter reopening, a lot of economic instability is really sort of having ripple effects that we're seeing wash around the country. So the only way that we're going to really, get through this is by pulling together, by being those neighbors. So if you're not deploying, look at what's around you, look at what difference you can make, and then, get in there and log it. You can see right here the numbers, which are pretty staggering, of what we've done here in the territory. and the opportunities to do the continuing feeding support operations, the COVID support operations are also on the board. So if you haven't gotten out there into your community recently, like, don't forget that this is also out there and available to you. It's a great way to get on your gray shirt and go make a local impact. All right, so we're going to start moving around the geographic areas. And before we go into those areas, I'm going to drop my mic for a moment, and we'll give it to Amanda McDonald, who's kind of taking over this team, and let her just introduce herself and kind of say hi to you guys. And I see she's sitting next to some ugly bald man, which is confusing to me, but we'll let her talk.
Hi, I'm Amanda McDonald, our new geographic manager. Super excited to be here. I joined Team Rubicon in 2012, and I have since then kind of held volunteer leadership positions across Region 9, when it was Region 9 back in the day, up in the Northwest Territory. I was previously the Senior Readiness Associate, so essentially the Brittany Olson of Southwest Territory, for almost 2 years, and just moved to Albuquerque. So super excited to join the South Central Tribe, and thank all of you for all that you do every day, and also for your support as I come on board and kind of learn about all of you guys. Super excited. So with that, I'll go ahead and kind of kick it off to the different geographic areas. We'll start with North Texas.
Let me put the slide back up here. Hold on. There we go.
All right, greetings from North Texas, specifically Plano. So for our current initiatives, the big change this month here is going to be the outreach for Op Crying Eagle. As we all know, with the big attention disasters, we get a large increase of monetary donations, but specifically new joins into Team Rubicon. Our intent here is to identify those people that have willingly thrown their hand up in the air, and really ride that deployment high, or find the people that have shown the initiative to get shit done and work with them to get them more active in the area. For upcoming events, we still have our September social and grab your go bag. Right now, we're sitting at about, I think, 25 participants throughout the South Central Territory, looking fantastic. A lot of people do have some deployability issues, and a lot of people don't. We're looking to get everybody active, engaged, and show them, point them in the right direction to where they can get involved in their local metros. One thing that we are doing different, and this ties into that Crying Eagle outreach, is we are hosting a Crying Eagle post-deployment social with the intent, and please spread this word to all of your gray shirts, with the intent to get current prospective deployers, people that want to deploy, maybe never have deployed before, in touch with people that just came back. That way they can talk to somebody, peer-to-peer, get some information, hopefully, pump it up, get that excitement out there, and drive some participation out there in the op, which I know they certainly need. The 26th September cache and trailer inventory, that is TBD, since our trailer is now in support of the Beaumont FOB. Then, of course, we got a picture right there for our current operation out there at the Ternary Food Bank. Tomorrow starts week 6, so they're out there. Special shout out to Andy Balmeza and Sarah Beta. They've been kicking ass out there for 5 weeks now, going on 6 weeks, and we certainly appreciate everything. Any questions? That's all I got.
Thanks, Dennis. Well, I'll go ahead and move on to South Texas, and Heather.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Drew, can you try refreshing?
Click. Okay, there you go. So all of our food supportive services down in the greater Houston area got demobbed prior to Laura. So we're currently discussing whether or not we might bring some of them or all of them back online. So hopefully this coming week, we'll get an answer on that. I know a few people have asked me about wanting to get back out to support those, especially a lot of people who aren't going to deploy over to Laura stuff anyway. So stand by on that. We have an upcoming Soldiers Angel event. If you guys don't know what that is, they're an organization that supports veteran services, and they host like a monthly food drive. So we have the Houston area one coming up in October. The date's tentative, but hopefully we'll get that enroll call soon and kick that off in the Houston area. They've already been doing it up in Colorado and a couple other places in the country. So Houston and San Antonio are coming online. So TR is going to partner with them and keep that going. As far as, well, kind of like what Drew was saying and Steve, a lot of our efforts are focused on supporting the LoRa response right now. So we've been doing quite a bit of outreach for people who are registering but are coming up as non-deployable for some reason. So we're doing some outreach to see what their issue is or if we can help them at all and kind of get them squared away so they can get out there. So if anyone has any interest in supporting that remotely, if you're not planning on getting out or you're not able to get out to the field, we can definitely use extra help, remote support for help with that outreach effort. Also, don't forget, if you can't get out in the field, you also have the opportunity to support crisis cleanup remote support as well in the call center. And then we've been doing random like logistics support stuff for the LoRa operation. So we've been sending out messages and requests for help, sometimes short notice. So big thanks really to everyone who's been helping with getting those things accomplished. Just random transport of goods and kits and vehicles and stuff. So if you get one of those messages, just know that it is a critical need, or we wouldn't be asking it of you, especially if it's a short notice one. As far as the new metro, as most of you know, the new metro for the South Texas area that came online was the Beaumont area metro. So we've been trying to do a little bit of outreach. I'm planning an orientation for a couple weeks from now with all of the gray shirts in that new metro area to kind of, just get us all together and discuss things, see what people might be interested in doing, that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much it that's going on right now. It's kind of limited at this point. We've been doing a little bit of outreach to some of the local EMs and jurisdictions and trying to get that stuff started too. That's all I really have for Greater Houston. I do want to mention, though, to everyone who knew, or maybe if you weren't aware, Doc Patrick Smith was hospitalized with COVID about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks now. But he's been released. Wanted everyone to know that he's doing well. He's going to be coming back in a few days after being home for a couple of days to recover, coming back to help out. So just wanted to give you guys an update on that in case you hadn't heard from him. He was kind of went dark a little bit, but he's doing good. So no worries, and he'll be back. I think that's it. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Heather. Next up, Arkansas and Louisiana with Evan.
Hey guys, how are y'all? Thank you very much. All right, so here I am representing Arkansas and Louisiana. Want to welcome some of our new leaders. We got Gene O'Neill, who's going to be the new Arkansas State Fields Ops lead, and we have Ron Riedling, who is going to be the new Arkansas State Planning lead, and I don't know why it didn't show up, but yep, they are both incredibly talented individuals, and we're super excited to have them a part of the Arkansas team. And then we have recently onboarded Sage Teasley, who's going to be the new Metro Planning lead for New Orleans, and we're super excited as we're building out our New Orleans Metro, and we think she's going to be a fantastic addition. We have some upcoming events, and I don't know why half the slide is not showing up. Drew, do you know? Can you click? I've got like an initiative part on the right, and I don't know why it's. Well.
Try hitting refresh, Drew.
Yeah, it's like half of it's missing. Technical issues, guys. Stand by.
I can see it on my computer, Evan. It's there, I promise.
It's just not on the screen. I swear it's there.
I was like, should I share screen?
We can just screenshot it, put it in the chat.
Here, I got it.
There we go. Okay, cool. Awesome. So we're really starting to develop a great battle rhythm going on. We have some upcoming events. We have a virtual campfire that we're doing with both Arkansas and Louisiana, as well as a Grab Your Go Bag. And while it's kind of a focus and we're really, pushing it out to our Arkansas and Louisiana people, it's also anybody's welcome to join. So the campfire is really to just jumpstart that engagement, get people connected with other local gray shirts who are in their area, and then the Grab Your Go Bag to give people an idea of what it's like to be on an op and how to prepare for that, and a little bit more like an introduction to TR, as you guys know. Some of our upcoming initiatives, we're continuing to really drive member recruitment and engagement. With Operation Crying Eagle, we've really started to, sorry, I've got background noise. I'm actually here at Operation Crying Eagle, so I've got some background noise. But yeah, so we are really starting to boost that recruitment and engagement here on the ground and from virtual as well. And we're also starting to build out our new Louisiana cache that we got last month. We have a new trailer that logistics is going to talk about in a little bit. And then we're also really starting to develop strong relationships with the EMs and the VOADs in the area. Operation Crying Eagle has been destructive and detrimental to this community, but at the same time, it's really allowing us to really set ourselves apart in this area. We're one of the very few organizations that's here on the ground, and people know that, and they recognize that, and they see that we are willing to come out here in a COVID climate, and we are willing to kick ass regardless of the conditions, including being billeted in no AC and some rugged conditions, and everyone here is incredible, and the community knows that, and they're incredibly grateful for us. And so we're getting there, and I think this is going to be a great momentum for Louisiana and show what we can really do in this state. So yeah, so if you guys get a chance, if y'all can help out with Operation Crying Eagle, the community would appreciate it, whether that be from remote, whether you can get out here, boots on the ground. You can really make a difference here. And that's pretty much all I got.
Awesome. Thank you, Evan. Next up, Dan, if you want to give us a New Mexico. Awesome. Thank you, Evan. Next up, Dan, for New Mexico update.
All right. So here in New Mexico, we're still moving around up in Santa Fe with the food bank with the Kick the King. So we're going strong there still. State leadership, we have several positions open. We really need a training leadership position in the state. We're taking a look. We're going to take a look at, see what we got and what's available. A hard look at it, trying to get our team together and really can sit down and figure it all out. I seem to have got a little bit lost over the last few months. I had to take a step back due to my job, but I'm getting back into it here. One other thing that New Mexico has rolled out was we're doing the ICS 300 and 400 remotely through New Mexico Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Tom is a good point of contact as he's one of the instructors. If you want to sign up for that and do it virtually, preparingnewmexico.org is the place to go. You have to create an account to register, and you'll be put on a waiting list for that. Other than that, we are trudging along, supporting where we can, everything else. So that's what I got, Amanda.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan. Hugely appreciated. And back over to Steve or Drew.
To Elizabeth.
Even better.
Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate that. Good evening, everyone. So we're going to talk just quickly about our current operations. So as everyone knows, Crying Eagle and the response to Hurricane Laura, we were incredibly involved in the mission planning process, and as a territory received a lot of accolades for being so involved in that process, but also just kicking ass in that process. So shout out to everybody who helped with that. That being said, we then immediately put a bunch of South Central gray shirts on the ground for Advent Recon, and then got 60 gray shirts so far out there deployed to respond with Crying Eagle. And our very own Luke Hundley kind of led the way with Operation Fury Road, which has already demobbed. But you can check him out on all of your local media outlets, Weather Channel, NBC, all that. He's become our little own South Central news celebrity. So with that, you guys, if there's news coming out about South Central, but also just about the operation in general, make sure you're sharing that. There is a lot of social media going on. with that, echoing what Heather said, we've been able to get a lot of gray shirts mobilized kind of short notice on the ground to support that operation, whether that was getting the trucks organized in Houston and staged ready for people to pick up and drive out to Lake Charles, where we've got the 3 different billets and about 100 people, and that's going to be growing, or that was getting things mobilized and kind of hiccuped and sorted through as we got our new FOB set up in Orange City over the weekend. And they got people on the ground to start running that. With that, there are a lot of CNG opportunities. We've got 3 billets. We've got 2 FOBs. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for you guys if you want to get engaged as CNG, if you want to train or you want to get out there again. And also the mobile training has been deployed to the area. So you are going to have opportunities to sign up for training when you register for deploying. So make sure you guys are jumping in on some of those opportunities. If you haven't taken LSC or PSD classes, those are coming up. And as Drew said, this is going to be going on for a little while. So you'll have time to get the classes in and then go put some of those new skills into practice. With that, we'll go to the next slide, please. And so the other thing, as Drew said, we have is Kick the King is still going on. Mike and Jen have been killing it at the Dallas EOC out there, and they continue to support that effort. We also have 3 food support service operations going on, and this month, our very own Tiara was named Volunteer of the Month for supporting the food bank. So that's a huge shout out. She has been absolutely reliable and dependable, and she's just there showing up every time. And shout out to her for her exceptional representation as a gray shirt in the El Paso area. With that, if you guys do know people in your local area, we do have these 3 operations going on. You know, if people can't deploy or they're bummed about not being able to go for a full week out to Crying Eagle, and you are in any of these 3 areas, make sure you can encourage gray shirts to still get out there and kick some ass. It is still an awesome opportunity. And like Heather said, we are exploring the opportunity to open up a few more depending on what we can support and where the requests are. With that, I will pass it back to Drew.
And I will pass it right back to Steve and Mike.
Mike, you want to start us?
Oh, I guess, certainly, Steve. So, hey guys, we are deep into the hurricane season. As you know, earlier this year, they did predict that it was going to be rather active. It has met those predictions. This will continue to go through. We watch this diligently. We're lucky at this point in time that we can certainly stay ahead of things for at least a week or 2 out. We will continue to do that. Definitely going to be looking for some help to take a look at that. There will be a time when the hurricanes won't be coming down and things will start to slow down. And then we in territory planning can start talking about getting us ready for the spring. I'll turn it back over to you, Steve.
No, just to echo what Mike said. So we're looking at trying to build as much of a planning bench as we can. Mike's been putting on a lot of different workshops and everything. A lot of people have been getting on those, even from other territories. And so we're starting to play with some of the idea of really building out what some situation unit leader capability could look like and help some of our disaster monitoring stuff. So you may see some talk about that. And then we're trying to find creative ways to lean in to some of our processes. And one of those, as it started off as like an internal thing that we were just going to have a cool new toy for us to play with, and it's snowballed into being recognized as a national level tool that will actually shape how TR launches operations. And Elizabeth has been working on putting the pieces together, working with the tech team and everything to come up with a FOB database to really lean in on the Advon stuff. And so there's a lot of changes coming, a lot of things that are going to put us in a position to help out a lot more people a lot faster and hopefully a lot more of a streamlined manner. And then we just, as always, we're going to keep doing what we do. So if you know anybody, if you've got a planning bug, anything like that, if you want to learn some more, we're all in and we're always going to be looking for it. Because you can see that photo is from today, that top one, just so everyone's tracking. That's the latest and greatest, and we're still in the shooting gallery. Going to next slide. We're going to shoot it over to Mr. Tom Wamsley, who I know I could see him. He looks so excited to be called on.
Thanks, Steve. Hey, big thanks to everyone that attended the Recon Advon workshop that we did prior to the LoRa response. It was great. We had 13 people sign up in like less than 48 hours. And like mentioned on there, the position-specific class, if you guys are interested, we're going to need CNG. Dan did mention that here in New Mexico, we're doing ICS 300 and 400 virtually. I saw that Texas, I think, has a class coming up at the end of the month, and we're going to continue to push national to get that up and running. And if not, I think we have a fallback plan because we're going to need that. We do need some other additional instructors. We're constantly looking for instructors for those different classes. And so if anyone has an interest, definitely take the class to begin with. Kind of back to the Recon Advon. If you've been out and done like 100 recons before, like your name's Jim Black, like take the class again with us. It's great to have your perspective in there in addition to folks that haven't done it before. And we had our first field ops month or territory sync a few weeks ago, and that's going to be a monthly thing. If you're like a city admin, state admin, we'd ask you guys jump on there with us and have some good conversation. And I think that's all I got, Steve.
Nope. I think that's about it. So look, hey, if you got bandwidth, fill up those seats. You know, Mike and Tom have been rocking and rolling and trying to get the word out on these classes. That is going to be the future as we start really formalizing and building out the construct of our CNG quals. So please, like if you don't have 300 because it hasn't been available, but you got time on the books and the operations, you know, hit me up and I can see if I can get you in the class without 300. That's not impossible. So thank you, Tom. That's it on that one. Mr. Anthony.
Yeah, so the trailer that you see is the one that Evan was talking about. It's our new Baton Rouge trailer. Trailer 650. Looks pretty nice. I haven't seen it yet, but it was deployed immediately into action with Hurricane Laura, and it will be residing in Hammond, Louisiana once that response is completed. We also completed the first Arkansas State cache inventory this about a week ago. Chad Reynolds did it for us, and that's, I think, the first time it had been really inventoried in about 2.5-3 years. Then big news in New Mexico. John Colclaw, can't ever say his name right, had to step away, and now Kelly Wilder is going to be stepping in to fill his shoes. So they still have a pretty good, strong team in New Mexico, and we're excited to have her on as the state logistics lead. That's it, Steve.
Thank you, Anthony. And yeah, just for everyone's essay, look, the logs team, Anthony and Julia, Cindy, you know, Kyle, there's been a lot of moving parts, as you may or may not know, with Crying Eagle. And so the logs team has really put out a lot of hours and a lot of serious impact. So good job on all of you and everyone that was supporting them. That's all I got.
Next up, training with Mike.
Thanks, Amanda. Hey, y'all. Just to let you know, like echo what Dan said a minute ago, like our state and geographic training leads are kind of next in the hopper in terms of priority and building out the team. There's a link for you there for those that are still researching the COVID execution guidelines, whether you're on an op or whether you're working with food bank type operations. Our virtual instruction has extended to the end of the year. That word should have got out to you on the general channel not too long ago, but that means site survey, recon advon, safety officer, planning section chief, and log section chief will continue each week essentially, with some accelerated classes for certain things in support of operations. Like Tom mentioned, the safety officer, planning, and logistics section chief courses require ICS 300 among a couple of other small things, but it can be waived per request from Steve or Amanda to the national training chief. So reasons for waivers would be things like I took it 10 years ago, can't find my number. I'm planning on taking it as soon as it's available. And really just the territory chain of concern, wanting to get you ahead of the power curve so you can serve on CNG, those kinds of things. So probably a pretty straightforward process for those that want to do that. I know this weekend's class, I think, is full for planning. I'm not sure of the others. Recon Advon does not require ICS 300, so that's kind of an everybody can jump in on that. Those virtual training events that are nationally scheduled will not be on the territory training calendar. It's literally a manual effort to do that and somewhat unnecessary since everyone has access to roll call and can simply search for any of those 5 keywords to find those courses listed. Lastly, a couple things. Gary Curry, I'd like to welcome him to the team. Gary Curry just came on board as the site survey cadre lead for South Central Territory. That's awesome. We still have vacancies available in the other T3 type courses that are listed here in the bottom right corner of the slide. And then also, like I said, state training leads and geographic training leads are kind of our next priority fill. Left side of the slide is our pathways graphic, if you will. It's a way for membership administrators, each of us as volunteer leaders, to talk to gray shirts about what paths are available in Team Rubicon and how to move through those paths in a choreographed way. If someone wants to be a Sawyer 2 or a chainsaw instructor level 2 or a planning section chief, there's literally kind of a hard to read, very small, if not blown up, chart to see what that path looks like. This is getting socialized for a national standard chart. We borrowed this one from the Northeast, who might have borrowed it from somebody else. But in any case, it's a great chart to talk with your growing membership and your new volunteer leaders about, thinking about what path they want to be on. Lastly, I think that's it for me.
All right, it's me again. So with the coming of September 1st, the South Central Training Swag Initiative had gone ahead and closed out. Throughout the past few months, there were dozens of gray shirts that jumped in there and sacrificed their personal times and their weekends and whatever plans they may or may not have had to jump in there and strengthen the capabilities and the knowledge amongst our gray shirt populace for the sake of disaster response. From anybody who wasn't tracking, for certain courses, if you took them, there was like a dollar amount equivalent that you'd earned in swag bucks for the TR store. And over there on the right, as of September 1st, those are your leaders. I stopped at $15 because there was too many people to fit on one slide, and we'd be going on for an additional 15 minutes in this brief, and I figured I would save you that pain. But here we go. That's everybody, and that's all I got. Thank you.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't introduce the new territory membership lead, my friend Jennifer Nieder. Thank you for stepping up to that plate. And we are going to make great advances under your leadership. So thanks.
Well, thank you, Mike. You are definitely leaving some hard shoes to fill, but I appreciate everything that you're doing to help me get up to speed. Just a quick little note, as you can see on the slide, who's a part of membership outreach? We all are. It's important that you remember that every time you talk to a gray shirt, what you're basically doing is membership outreach. Whether you're guiding them to a training path or you're helping them get some tech knowledge, whatever it is, you are part of membership outreach. And guess what? South Central outreach is kicking ass. And so I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to thank the membership team for all of their hard work. Jeannie Rimberger is the state membership team lead, and she's doing amazing things. All of the geographical associates are working really hard, and as Heather touched on earlier, getting all of that outreach out there, trying to get our non-deployable people deployable. All of that's very important. I've dropped a couple of links in here that people can go to if they get a hold of these slides. The Unified Membership Outreach Plan, specifically speaking to COVID-19, and our new Leader General Onboarding Guide. These are great things for everybody to look at and have some knowledge of. We do have several membership team vacancies. You can see them there on the right. In the territory, looking for a deputy and a coordinator. All of the states have some positions that are open as well. It's really great watching through this entire presentation thus far and hearing about new leaders that are coming on board. And it's exciting to see how the territory is growing so rapidly in the last few months. Now, the absolute most important announcement that I have to make tonight. In case any of you missed the 9 different dings that you got today from Teams, on Thursday is our inaugural episode of Gray Matter, the game show edition. That will be Thursday, the 10th at 8 p.m. And if you haven't already signed up, I don't know what's wrong with you, and you better do something to fix it, because we're going to have a ton of fun. The initial contestants, in case you didn't already know, are our very own Drew Hanna and John Datoma. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a knockdown, drag out, fisticuffs. There'll be spit flying, maybe a little blood. We'll see what happens. I don't know. But seriously, get yourself signed up and get the word out to all of your gray shirts, because it will be a Blue Jeans call, which means there won't be any issues getting everyone on there. Last but certainly not least, our next membership territory sync will be September 22nd at, that is incorrect. It will be at 8 p.m., not 10 p.m. That would be awful. And that's all I have tonight.
Thanks, Jen. Next up, Ed with Tech.
Hey, everyone. Okay, I'm going to start off that Thursday. I'm going to be betting on John and not Drew, because, you know, John always comes to me for his help. I know he'll get through that and he'll beat him. So, but anyway, if you go to the I'm just going to share my screen, Amanda, actually. It's the easier way to do this for everybody. So give me just 1 second. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay, so I only wanted to cover a few things because I know we wanted to kind of give a lot of time to cover Laura and the other stuff tonight. So I'm going to only cover a few things tonight. Those of you that use the Metro dashboard may have noticed that you're now getting this new message. Some of you knew, some of you didn't. We were using a bootleg version of the Metro dashboard that was actually from Amanda's old territory. So it was stolen, you can see from here, from out in Hawaii. So we now have system dashboards for the Metro dashboards, but we have state and territory dashboards. So you'll have to just switch to the system dashboards, which are at the bottom. And if you want to make it your default, all you have to do is click here and say set as default. Everybody see that up here? You click set as default, and then whenever you start up EMS, it'll start with your Metro dashboard, which is what I had it set at with the old dashboards. But now we also have, which is new, is your state dashboard. You can look at what's going on in your state. For those of you that like all this data, I love this stuff. And we also have territory. You can look at everything going on, not everything, but look at what's going on in our territory and bar charts and pie charts. So this is great. One additional feature we got that we didn't even ask for from this that I thought some people might be interested in, especially say Evan, who has multiple states, is there are metrics now available for any metro, state, or territory. So bottom left, if you go to volunteer management and go to settings, you'll be able to see states, territories, regions. There's metros here. So what I'm going to do is just go to states, and I'll pick whichever one of our states I notice first. New Mexico. Okay, it's scrolling slow. And my computer's being difficult because I'm sharing my screen. Oh, just do this.
It's at the bottom.
I know, I just hit Oklahoma. So if I go to Oklahoma, or if you go to any of our states, there's now a metrics tab where you can actually see data for any state. You can do the exact same thing for any metro. So if you come here and you look at, say, I'll go to Albuquerque. You can look at metrics for the Albuquerque metro. This is great that they added this. I don't think this was even requested. I think it just kind of came over as they added the new charts for the dashboards. And this is just great information that you can pull up anywhere. You look at metros, you can look at multiple states, look at all the different territories. So these are great new features. Play around with it. Let me know if you have any questions. The only other thing I wanted to mention tonight is we've had a number of people that have been having problems with TR 101, new gray shirts, where they can't get TR 101 to mark as passed. Kate Brown has been working diligently with us to get these people through and fix it. But if you hear about anybody getting stuck, let me know right away. See if they can get a screen capture of where it's happening to them, that it won't let them register. And we will get it fixed. We fix someone if we have to, and we can override EMS and we can just get them so they're deployable. And we did that with someone today. So if you have anybody coming to you with TR 101 problems, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and with any tech problems. But with that especially, we have been seeing that problem lately. So, and that's all I had, unless anyone has any questions.
My question is, where's your dog?
In the other room, we were at a barbecue. She's comatose.
Oh.
She's in the foyer. If she was behind me, I'd move the camera. I don't think I'd get her. She's not moving. No.
Ed, did you also want to talk about Teams channel naming?
Oh no. Yeah, I know that was on there. I've left that on there every month. We talked about that the last 2 months, and this way we can move quicker. But yeah, just remember, everyone, this is the basis of how we're naming our teams, right? So if it's a new op, 04 is the one that we really need to remember. If you're adding a new op or a local event, should be 05 preceding the name. Yeah, and then that's it. Thanks, Amanda.
Awesome, thank you. Next up, Wellness with Apri.
Hey guys. So first of all, I want to start off with this amazing logo that Wellness has created in conjunction with membership and just the rest of the readiness team. Bonus points if anybody recognizes who it is modeled after. This all goes out to Mike Martell. He's the one who created it for us. And to kick that off, if you haven't already guessed who it is, our very own Junior has agreed to start doing a monthly virtual yoga session as part of wellness and trying to make wellness a little bit sexier. Not that it isn't already the greatest thing in TR. Not that I'm biased. So that's our biggest thing. We're really excited about it. Look to see something along this line with the logo in an upcoming t-shirt. One of the things that Wellness is going to start doing is partnering up more with the rest of the readiness, and specifically membership with Jen. We've been doing a lot of work to just try and bring some of the fun back, because we know a lot of our gray shirts are really just in kind of a, a miserable place right now with COVID. So that's why we've got things like the game shows, We've been doing the care packages. Shout out to Trish. She has been killing it with the cards and care packages right now. And we've gotten some really great feedback about it. We will also be looking for more contestants for the game show. I know Jen kind of mentioned it, but seriously, we need more contestants. We're going to try to push these out every 2 weeks as long as they're getting some good feedback. We're trying to partner up both a staff member as well as a volunteer leader or someone just well-known in TR. Kind of our thought behind it was we've got a lot of new gray shirts who hear these names floating around like John Datoma and Expensify and all of that. So we'd love to give them a chance to get to know some of these names and just kind of take the mystique away from it a little bit, and make everyone feel just really welcome in a time when they're not really getting out in public or getting to meet anybody one-on-one or face-to-face. So please let us know if you are up for being grilled. I will tell you as another push for Thursday, I have some really epic, embarrassing photos of Drew and some stories. I won't say the name of the person who gave them to me, but I appreciate her greatly. So we've got that coming up. We're also starting to build out the wellness team. We've got a couple of people coming on board for it. So if you're interested in wellness, please give me an email, shout out, whatever. We'll kind of get you involved. Other than that, we've got some great burnout workshops and resiliency workshops coming up. I've been working with the rest of the territory as well as other territories to try to come up with some workshop ideas. Specifically, I'm working on resiliency, but we've got some other ones for post-deployment blues, COVID. There's another one that I'm not thinking of right now, stress management, I think. So that's wellness in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you. Next up, comms with Drew.
Hey guys, it's me again, Drew. Covering down on comms with Britt out, which I think is actually announced on the next slide. First, just some signal boost stuff. There's a lot of fundraising communications that you guys are probably either seeing or being copied on. So the organization is kind of asking for any assistance that you guys can give on your social media feeds. We don't ask you guys to really like weigh in on the fundraising side too much because you guys are already kind of killing yourselves in terms of burning all of your time. Asking for your money seems like a bit much, but with Laura in particular, given how low attention it's become, any awareness that you can bring to the work that we're doing and avenues to support the organization are super appreciated. Some particular ones to call attention to: the Mission Overwatch campaign, which the development team has been running for our individual giving. They've kind of split it up into territories, which I know confused some people because they saw like all the territory logos and they were like, how come we're not involved in this? And you can be, there's nothing stopping you. But that's really like the development reaching to individual donors within those territories. So like we are only involved from like an awareness perspective. Some of you guys are also individual donors. And so like a lot of those comms feeds get crossed, but that's what's going on. But that has been extended from July, at least now, through the end of September. Maybe continued again, given all that is going on with Laura and the long-term implications of that. That is unrestricted funding, even though we're kind of trying to ramp off of Laura awareness. But so any awareness that you guys can add to that campaign, either through your own or others' fundraising efforts, or just through the organization's main Classy page, are greatly appreciated. The same is true of the PXG $2 million matching challenge. So PXG, if you guys have never heard of them before, they're a golfing company. Golfing accessories. It stands for Parsons Extreme Golf. So PXG and the Bob Parsons, who owns PXG, as well as like a variety of other companies. He's kind of a billionaire philanthropist. He's been a longtime supporter of the organization since at least the Harvey days. But they have committed a $2 million match for our Laura efforts. So that is sort of an ongoing fundraising effort that we're doing. And so again, just any kind of, signal boost that you guys can make by retweeting, Facebook sharing, Instagramming, whatever it is that your favorite, to help bring attention and awareness to that is much appreciated. Another thing to signal boost is the reflections and the calls to action about Laura. The most powerful thing, I think, for a lot of volunteers is just hearing those personal stories from volunteers who have gone downrange, made an impact, described where they came from and then how they got there. Some of the best reactions that we get are to stories like the ones that Oscar told, or the story, Luke's appeals. He was on the Weather Channel. A lot of people see that, and they see themselves. They see that, they want to be that person who's going out there making that impact, being on the ground. So kind of drawing attention to those helps us pull people in, and really kind of helps recruit those Lukes and Oscars of tomorrow. So when you guys see those, definitely share them. And then if you guys are deployed, please do capture your thoughts and experiences in a way that we can kind of share and package to others, because they did that stuff because we reached out to them and asked them, because we knew they were on the ground and they were awesome. But as this thing kind of blows up to 200 volunteers on the ground a day, we kind of lose track of some of our individual deployers. So if you guys are getting out there, capture your thoughts, get some great pictures, share them back with us, and so we can kind of package them and distribute them to a wider audience who wants to hear about all the cool shit that you did. Some other stuff that's kind of ongoing. We currently have the local outreach tool in beta testing with some volunteers here in the territory and across the country. This is kind of the moneymaker that everybody has been begging and pleading and asking for, forever since I was a volunteer, and probably before that. But the most common refrain is, hey, I'm in this metro, how do I reach out to people? And so this is a tool that will live within the EMS. It's a way to sort of target an audience, craft a message to them to call awareness to your event, training, deployment opportunity, service project, whatever. Right now it's in beta testing. It's going to kind of work very similarly to think about how you guys build events in EMS to submit them for approval. It's a similar sort of process where you kind of craft the message, craft the audience that you want to reach, and then you send it up the chain for approval. And it, usually within a day or two, it gets approved and blasted out. So it's a little cumbersome, but it's a great tool to reach sort of a local audience. So not like the overkill of the Gator Flame marketing module, which goes to, tens of thousands of volunteers around the territory. This is a way to just reach your local audience, let them know who you are, what's going on, and how they can get involved. We'll take the feedback and kind of build out the tools a little bit more over the next couple of months and hopefully get that rolled out to everyone by the end of the year. But it's a super exciting opportunity. I'm really thankful for the work that the tech team has put into it, and the volunteer team around the territory who stepped in to help us get that finessed and pushed out. Other things that are sort of ongoing that we're asking for your guys' assistance and opportunities on. One is the veteran recognition tool that I dropped into the announcements channel. Obviously, Veterans Day is still upcoming, and so we want to do some features on some of the veterans in this organization who have made such huge impact across the territory, across the country. I know you guys know them. I know you see them. I know you guys see a lot of stuff that we don't see. So please, please, please take some time to nominate some of your fellow hardworking volunteers for the things that they're done so we can recognize them. And then this is I need it by Wednesday. We're hoping to select a couple of those nominations to be featured on the History Channel for a little documentary vignette. We're not picking those people. The History Channel's picking those people. But they're picking it kind of from the stories that we're sharing with them. So if you have a really good story of another volunteer, drop it in that portal, and we will get it pushed to the History Channel so that they can select some awesome people who have done awesome things. Other things that are sort of ongoing, we're kind of evaluating all of the Facebook pages and groups to see about how we can kind of realign those to make them more successful. We have some really, really cool ones that are doing a lot of work, and then some that have kind of become ghost towns. And, most of the people who are joining them are people who are not from that metro or state. So we kind of want to combine that stuff. Whitney from Houston is kind of helping us lead the charge on that one. So if you have feedback on that, give it to him. And then some people, like Tara Buckingham in El Paso has been absolutely killing the social media game. So if you're looking for some ideas on how to make your team's Facebook page really awesome, hit her up, let her show you what she did. It was super impressive to me. And then just 2 saved rounds that I didn't drop on the slide, but I wanted to make sure that I shared with everybody. One is just a reminder that as long as we're doing this LoRa posture, the comms team, the national comms team, has been updating the talking points daily. That link is in the general channel. I think it's also in the announcements channel, and if you can't find it in either of those places, just hit us up and we can get it to you. But those talking points are really useful if you guys are doing any kind of outreach or discussion on what Team Rubicon's current posture is, metrics that we've accumulated, and just kind of it helps sum up so you guys can share with broader audiences what the organization is doing, so you can communicate that to any partners or groups that you're communicating with. And then last but certainly not least, you guys saw shared in the newsletter from Natasha and Jess, there's been an update to the organization's neutrality SOG. It really relates to, in particular, to social media and politics. It's just kind of, as we head into what is by all indications going to be a very contentious political election, we are asking everybody to kind of like, if you have a Facebook or social media profile that is very publicly TR affiliated, that you kind of think about how you are framing and posting political discussions and dialogue on your page. The question that you kind of want to ask yourself is, am I framing things in a way that is, uniting the organization and the country and inviting people into us, or is it going to make them think that, Team Rubicon is a very partisan and divided group, and, because I am blue, I would not be invited into that red organization, or because I am red, I would not be invited into that blue organization. So if you have a moment, please take a moment and review that. It really all comes down to Rule 1, which you guys are all pretty good at, but, just make sure that we are putting on our best face. So that is it on the comms front. And I'm not sure what's next, Amanda. Is it announcements? It is announcements. As you can see, we have some open jobs across the country right now. We're hiring geographic associates in the Southwest and the Northwest, based out of either Phoenix or Vegas for the Southwest, or Seattle for the Northwest. If you are interested in either of those roles, please do put your information in. If you're curious what the job is like, you have 3 excellent candidates you can ask, and Heather, Dennis, and Evan. We also are hiring a logistics associate for the Midwest Talk, which is based out of Chicago. If you want to know what that is like, please talk to either Cal or Derek or someone at the national logistics team. And then last but certainly not least, we are backfilling the role that Amanda recently vacated. So you can see it up there. And if you want to know what that's like, Amanda is a great resource to find all about it. And you can go live in sunny Las Vegas where it's 110 degrees and every 2 hours you have to turn off your air conditioning. Next up, the CHFP is currently accepting applications for Base Camp 5. Tom Walmsley wants to give a pitch to everybody about that.
This is the 5th iteration of Basecamp. If anyone's interested, reach out to myself. Luke Hunley's on here, or Larry, or any of the other fellows. We'd really like to have a good, strong presence. We got a few folks in the review team, so if you guys are wondering what it needs to look like, just reach out and we can kind of coach you along.
Thank you, Tom. And guys, I really do encourage, first of all, you guys to apply to it. Even if you, or I should say, especially if you've applied previously and haven't gotten through, definitely it's worth the time to keep applying until you either get in or move on to, bigger and better things in your life. Also, please do take the time to talk to current fellows or fellow alumni before you submit your application, because we can give you guys feedback to help you make it the best it can possibly be. Just a reminder, the Under Armour orders, which we posted about last week, that portal closes on Wednesday. And once it closes, it is closed. There will be no late calls. So if you want to order your cool Under Armour TR swag, please do get those submitted. I actually put in a second order on that because there was more cool stuff on there, and I apparently am a swag whore. And then last but not least, I sort of forecast this before, and I think a lot of you guys are tracking, but sadly, Brittany has been called to do great things by Uncle Sam. She will be heading to the Middle East in a couple of months, supporting logistics efforts in 9 countries for CENTCOM. Of course, we wish her well, and we are excited for when she comes back. But in the interim, we will be kind of building on a long-term coverage plan because it sounds like she's going to be out of pocket for a good long while. Until that stuff gets finalized and pushed out, hit up me for stuff that you would normally have hit up her for. And for those of you who have asked, we don't have an APO address for her yet because she hasn't actually deployed. But when we get it, we will socialize it so you guys can send her care packages in the mail. All right, sorry. I know we got ahead of ourselves. Next up, kind of our favorite part of it. This one was pretty easy for us. The recognition is hands down the work the route clearance team did over the last week. From the Pucker Factor 50 launch of route clearance through the last sweaty felling that they did. It was a huge initiative over a year in the making to get this rolling and make an impact. But Luke and the other volunteers who are on the ground for the better part of a week, clearing the way down there in Lake Charles, it's a big leap forward for what the organization can do. And we really pulled together a lot of very complicated opportunities. Luke, I think you're on here. Did you kind of want to share anything about your experience over the last week?
Yeah. First and foremost, I would say I wish my name wasn't under that picture right there, because you guys should all be aware that all but one person on that team was from South Central. And that's pretty badass to take on something like Drew said, it was hands down one of the toughest things I've ever done in Team Rubicon. And, maybe even in my military career, there was a lot of ambiguity. It was really dangerous. We had to communicate a lot. We had to hold the team together through exhaustion and confusion and everything else. So it was pretty great to be a part of it, and to know that our territory was able to man up and cover down on all those spots in really short notice. It's pretty badass. So you guys should all give yourselves one. Everybody that's involved with training and membership and everything else. It was a cool experience. Can't wait to do it again, hopefully.
Fuck yeah, man. And then I would also be remiss if I didn't point out that actually the first route clearance of the night was not done by the actual route clearance team, but by Ed and Oscar while they were waiting in the face of the hurricane for the route clearance team to arrive on scene. So Ed and Oscar, thank you guys for being the real first route clearance team. That was a joke. I think they dragged like a branch off a road. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. We keep going. Another group that we want to recognize is the Houston Logs crew, who pulled together over the weekends to help support the team in Orange County. So Demas and Russell in particular, with a bunch of support from Cindy. It was a last minute ask on Saturday from that crew to get them a bunch of equipment from Tool Bank and from our cache to make sure that they could operate safely on Sunday. And so it was a real sort of a last minute pull together. They were out there in the pouring rain until I think midnight, 1 o'clock on Saturday over Labor Day weekend to get shit done. So Demas and Russell, I don't think are on the call, but big ups to them as well, because it was pretty awesome how they came together and crushed it. Fuck yeah, logs. All right, we have made it. I just realized we're like 10 minutes over, so apologies for that. It's probably my fault because I rambled a lot. So just a few last minute things to kind of close us out and push us into the rest of September. I have kind of the standing remark of discipline there. because as much as we're excited about things like hurricanes and getting back to business as usual, business as usual remains operating in a COVID environment for certainly the rest of this month and the foreseeable future. Things like masking, hygiene, maintaining social distance, they're even more important now as we get deeper and deeper into this than they were, several months ago, because, before everybody was kind of like all ramped up, and so we're being extra careful, and now people are getting careless, and that's what leads to all the spikes that you see around the country is people stop taking this seriously. But COVID is still a very serious disease. As we saw with Doc, it'll definitely knock you down for a significant period of time. If not, leaving you with permanent effects. And so we don't want that. We want to keep everybody safe. We want to keep everybody healthy, so you can keep kicking ass for us for years to come. So be mindful of that. Thank you guys for all the work that you've done. Last month was a crazy month. We didn't even mention on this call things like Druid Again or TRLC, because those seemed so long ago, even though they were both last month. And this month promises to be another crazy month, because even as we continue to put so much effort into Laura and everything else, we have had a lot of surprises before, and more are no doubt coming our way. So continue to be focused, continue to be ready, and keep crushing it, guys, because you have been doing incredible work. I know this team will continue to do incredible work, and I'm really thankful for all of you. Just to take a quick pause for like an administrative note, I will probably miss a day or two sometime this month, sometime the next couple of weeks, because I'm supposed to have surgery on my back. Should not be anything too major, and I'll communicate more about that when I actually have it locked down when it will be. But we'll have in the chat what we're doing for coverage in the interim. If I am going to be out for any significant period of time, I don't expect to be. I know there's a few other kind of gaps in the coming month. Amanda's getting married. We'll probably elope to Mexico or something like that. Stuff will come up. So just keep an eye on the comms. And then a plug for our book club as well. It's just getting started down in the 06 level channels. But the book we're reading has gone out in the mail to everybody who signed up for it. So I'm pretty excited to see what comes from that. Let's have an awesome September, everybody. And I'll see you guys all in October.